All right, grab your sticks, grab your pucks, grab your gloves, grab your gear. The debut episode of Ice Talk has officially begun. Wow, we were pretty pumped up for this one. I'm Frankie James. Obviously, you guys probably see me everywhere. And my partner in crime, my man, the Raging Cajun, my BFF, Adam, aka Adam. Brother, it's been a long time coming.
Yeah, we were supposed to go for Saturday morning. We overslept a little bit and got pushed back, but we were going to get this thing rolling. It was just a matter of getting it rolling, and here we are. We're live. We're ready to go. I was about to say grab your dance partner and start fighting, but that was a whole other story there.
Yeah, clearly it was a whole other story. We're doing a debut episode. Talk a little hockey. Kind of just jumped out of nowhere, realistically, but we got a couple of guests with us. We're going to actually be doing the thing with them tomorrow, but we want to get them in here and start it up and go big. But yeah, man, Ice Talk's officially begun. Super excited. We got our jerseys on. What jersey are you rocking tonight, too, by the way? I know you probably have something dumb on. Oh, God.
I got a Crosby Winter Classic jersey.
What year?
Washington.
When they played Washington. That was a good year.
Yeah.
Did they win that game?
I think we lost. That's trying to remember. That was a long time ago.
Yeah, Winter Classics are tough. I actually have my jersey on.
Your real jersey?
I have my jersey on, which is exciting. It's just something comfy and cozy to wear. It definitely matches the hair. But let's get the boys in here. Host/co-host, co-host/host, 5-Hole Podcast, and the Blues Notes Podcast. They have their social media handles, so we'll make sure that you can see them. You can follow them on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Both the podcast or through the Variety Sports Network. Super pumped up. Can't wait to get them in here. Let's get the boys in here.
Let's bring them in.
And Brandon, let's get them in. Boys, how are you?
Doing great, man. Thanks for having us.
Yep, doing really good. Happy to actually get on with you guys tonight.
Yeah, especially because it wasn't supposed to happen. We realistically just kind of were, having a little meeting for tomorrow and just talking about, some NHL talk, and then Brandon had to go save the world. Side note, Brandon's in the service, so we definitely want to give a shout out. Thank you for everything that you've done. Like I said earlier on, we couldn't do this without you protecting us and fighting for our country. So thank you, everything that you do, my friend.
Yeah, appreciate the support, guys.
I appreciate you. And if you don't mind, before we kind of get into it, what branch are you in, and what exactly is your role, if you don't mind me asking?
I am actually in the Air Force Reserves out at Scott Air Force Base in Illinois. I'm a aircraft maintainer that works on the C-40 aircraft. It's kind of like a VIP transport plane. So, but aside from that, I also work for Boeing on the F-18 program, doing production with those. So do kind of a little bit of the military kind of deal on my military job and my civilian job. So I've always had a fascination for planes, and now I'm working on them, and I love every minute of it.
Yeah, that's incredible. And once again, thank you for everything that you've done. And we kind of had a side conversation early on, like about, obviously the Top Gun reference comes in, but, you actually kind of were able to relate a little bit because you've seen, the planes that you've worked on and that were used in the second movie. I'm sure that had to be pretty cool to say.
Yeah, it was really awe-inspiring. I get to work on the planes and everything, and I get to see them kind of fly here and there around the St. Louis area whenever they go up for test flights or anything, but I actually see a motion picture with them actually doing what they're supposed to be doing out on real world missions, possibly. It hits home just because the product that you build every day, actually flying and doing something that not a whole lot of people can really understand that feeling.
Couldn't have said it any better. I know I certainly couldn't. You're a hero, and I'm just a guy here talking hockey. Steve, how are you, my friend? Happy as hell to have you on as well.
Yeah, I'm doing great, man. I'm really glad to be here.
Yeah, I know. And as we are, we just for talking, and all of a sudden, boom, 20 minutes later, here we are. And so your podcast, let's talk a little, mention a little bit about your podcast. How long you guys been doing it? What are some of your, why don't you guys throw the plug out there for it?
So only really been running both the podcasts, 5 Hole series and the Blues Notes for roughly about 2 months, maybe a little bit more than that. The 5 Hole series, it's kind of a whole NHL series that we kind of do any kind of like big news, free agency trades. Once the season starts, we'll hopefully be doing like a weekly thing of just going over scores and anything else that really goes on. And then Blues Notes, it's kind of the same deal, only just mostly blues oriented. So I've always been big into talking sports, and I know Steve's kind of been the same way as well, and he does a little bit of his own thing on the side. But really, Brandon and the Variety Sports Network kind of came and asked me if I wanted to come on and talk hockey with them, and I said, sure, why not?
Rest is history. Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome.
Brandon, hold on, guys. Before we get off track, Brandon, have you got to look at the F-35 yet?
I have.
Are they as fascinating as they look?
Yes and no. I really like the plane. I'm more fascinated with the F-22, but that's just me.
The Raptor. That's badass. I don't care what they say. That's badass.
No, the most badass plane, the plane I worked on before the 18 and the one I currently worked on was the B-2. The stealth bomber, the flying wing. That thing is badass, even though it's a maintenance nightmare.
Yeah.
I once, the little small like private planes that they have. I've been in them a couple of times. I've actually flown one before alongside with someone. I'd rather fly them to be in a car, to be honest with you. It was pretty awesome. Not too high up and just kind of cruising around. That was definitely something that was pretty neat. It's not relevant to anything that you've done. I actually am sorry for even bringing that stupid airplane up. So I didn't disrespect anybody. Let's let Adam start rolling again and talk some hockey.
Oh yeah, let's do it.
Sorry, I wanted to know about the F-35.
Oh, you were just looking at the planes. Okay. I love it. Now, obviously, jumping on the show with you guys tomorrow, we kind of wanted to stay away from some topics that we were going to talk about. So we're going to have like a little debate, little discussion, like a little overrated, underrated. So, I mean, with the Blues, who would you say is probably your most overrated player? And maybe, your most underrated player and probably like that perfect player. Like, when you think of Blues, what player do you think of? I definitely have mine in my head.
I'll let Steve kind of start out.
Yeah, Steve, I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. So I don't know. It may be unpopular, but
doesn't matter.
Judging off the last part of the season, I almost feel like Kyrou was a little bit overrated.
Like it
towards the end of the season, everybody talked big about him, hyped him up, and then he just didn't produce, like he was either great or he wasn't, but he's still young. He's still got some time to develop. So I think he'll be good in the next couple of years, but there's a little bit of room for growth there. Underrated. I like Torpachenko, man. I thought he played really, really well towards the end of the season, put up some quality minutes. And honestly, like when you think of the Blues, I think of Ryan O'Reilly, man. I feel like he just plays hard every play. So
definitely a player you don't want to lose. We're talking about that discussion earlier, who steps in. If not, we obviously had mentioned a name and maybe we'll probably get into that, but that's good stuff. So Now to skip over, we'll get the Blues fan back in there before you guys take all the names. Adam, what do you think? Who do you think's all-time Blue guy and maybe overrated, underrated? Or are you still looking up?
All-time Blue guy.
Are you still looking at airplanes?
I like now. I grew up. Nelson Emerson was one of the most underrated Blues. I thought. I know I'm living in the past here, but he did sign a card for me, so I was pretty excited.
Oh, there you go.
No, the Blues, man. Like now, it's so hard to be a fan because they actually got good. So they became kind of like a mini rival.
We got rid of one of our top contributors to free agency that got picked up by Detroit.
Yeah, I got a comment down there. Steve Harper, great writer from FlyersInsider.com. That's one of my guys. Jordan Kyber had a very good year, 27 goals and 75 points. Damn good player. Thanks for checking in, Steve. Steve's always right. He's the best.
Yeah. I honestly, man, I like Kyrou. It's just like it seemed like towards the end of the season, he kind of had like some ups and some downs. You know what I mean? But just for me, but
I did go to the Blues Penguins game on January 5th, where I didn't understand why Tarasenko didn't get ejected in that game. Because once they started losing, once the Penguins brought in Jari, the Blues couldn't beat them. And Tarasenko just started taking dumb penalties, should have been ejected.
Probably didn't want to be there.
I was center ice right there. This person that I got tickets off of someone that came down with the Cove and didn't want to risk it. So,
you don't want to risk things these days, man.
So I was like, hey, if you're not going to use those tickets, I'll take them.
I'm really sick. I don't know if I'm going to make it. I'll take your tickets off your hands if you don't mind. Might as well get something out of it, right? I guess I'll go last. Brandon, my good man, give me yours. What do you think?
So overrated. I kind of talked with Steve about this a little bit on our podcast that we had on Sunday, but probably overrated. I'd probably go with Colton Parayko. I mean, he's such a big guy. He's so tall. His slap shot is out of this world, but he doesn't use his size to an advantage. He's one of the biggest, probably hardest shooting defensemen in the league, but he doesn't use his size to an advantage, and he doesn't shoot as much as he probably should on the blue line. I feel like if he had a little bit more aggressiveness and a little bit more grit to his game, I feel like he could be a lot more than what he is currently.
A little extra step sometimes is all you need.
What's that?
A little extra step sometimes is all you need to escalate your game.
Yeah. Underrated. I'm gonna go with one of the kids. Not so much Toropchenko, but Nathan Walker. He's a little Tasmanian devil. He's been quick on the ice. He's been really good the last couple of years that we kind of brought him up. And every time they brought him up, he's contributed in big, big ways. And somehow or another, I know that some of the guys that watched the show today or watched the Blues, they probably say that Logan Brown has deserved the time that he has had up on the Blues. But I felt like the ways that Nathan Walker kind of contributed the few times that he has been up and then get pushed right back down, I felt like he should have had a little bit more of a chance going through the seasons and having more of a chance. So this year it looked like he's going to get a little bit more of a chance. So I'll be happy to see how he kind of puts forth his effort this year.
Giving the young kids credit, nothing wrong with that, man. Sometimes somebody's got to stick by them because sometimes it's tough. Bruby's always been a player's coach too, so
for sure,
all the way around. I think that he's just done a really good job there. I mean, first year he was there, he won a Stanley Cup. It's unbelievable. All time Blue. First player that comes to mind. Who do you think?
Braden Shen. This is one of the things that we kind of talked about a little bit earlier, but
I can't wait for you guys to hear mine. You guys are going to be like, oh.
He's all around grit. He's there for all the guys. He's helping out every way he can on the ice and even off the ice. So I I mean, yeah, if he's there and playing, I know that the Blues are going to have a good chance of possibly winning a game if Braden's on the ice.
Damn good player. Can't argue. Realistically, can't argue with it. Like we mentioned earlier, Riley leaves. Who jumps in? Braden Shen definitely is somebody that could probably do it. Now, I try to check a little comment here. Make sure everybody's we got a little bit of Savage Slime. Hello, how are you, Savage Slime on YouTube? Thanks for checking in. I have no idea who that is.
So let me ask a question to the Blues guys real quick.
Sure thing, let's do
with Ryan O'Reilly and Tarasenko both in their final years of their deals, which one do you think's on the go and which one do you think's going to stay, if any?
Tarasenko's gone, man. I don't think he's coming back. So,
guy's been talking about being traded for 6 years.
No, I'm kind of in the same boat. I feel like Tarasenko's gonna be kind of on the way out. I know he's still pretty on the young side. He's probably like 29, almost 30.
He's 30. Tarasenko's 30,
yeah.
And I don't know how old O'Reilly is.
Probably around the same.
Not too much, or 33.
I think he's
my
30.
He's 31.
31.
Okay, so I was close. But no, I think Tarasenko is probably more on the way out, especially with, his contract that he has. He's 6.5 at the moment. He's probably going to want a little bit more, but in order to sign a lot of the guys, because I know we got, we were going to have Thomas on as a UFA, but we signed him to an 8-year deal.
Yeah, holy shit.
Yeah, 8 years, $8 million.
Wow.
So he's gonna have a long tenure for the Blues to come. And then
was Tarasenko about to be traded to the Islanders and he rescinded? Tarasenko.
Highly, I haven't heard anything about that. Where you see who's reporting it?
NHLrumors.com.
Fuck that. Don't listen to them.
I was gonna say rumors.
Yeah, unless it's Elliot Friedman, unless it's Freeds, or Weeks.
It's Mark Asen.
Yeah, it's up. Mark Asen could go, kiss his butthole. So good. That was a good question by Adam. So I'll follow up with this question. You obviously think where people are going to go. Who would you rather keep, Tarasenko or O'Reilly?
O'Reilly.
Yeah,
really,
absolutely.
Good call. Interesting. Yeah, interesting stuff. Well, if you guys don't mind, I'd like to give you guys my my overrated, underrated, all time.
Sure.
Chris Stewart's definitely my overrated. You know what I mean? Less than impressive offensive numbers, especially where a team needs offense more than defense. Definitely overrated for me. My underrated player. I'm actually gonna go David Backes on this one.
Really?
Yeah, I am. I think that that's probably a top 10 all time underrated player. That's just my opinion. Captain of the Blues at one point led the team. I think he was definitely an underrated player. And my all time, Al McInnes. Kidding me? Al McInnes, man, as my all time. I think of Blues. I think of Al McInnes right off the bat.
Player.
Al McInnes was incredible player.
Yeah,
So
I was one of the greats.
Was Keith Tkachuk was Keith Tkachuk on the St. Louis Blues or?
Yeah.
He
was a Blue.
Yeah, another incredible player. I mean, you see what his boys are. Matthew's doing. Keith Tkachuk was American-born player, incredible player. Played for a long time too. So Al McInnes and Keith Tkachuk, yeah, those two guys are. I think of Blues immediately.
Another good one. This is actually a duo. Brett Hall and
I was thinking Brett Hall. That's
Adam Oates. Yeah, you guys are going Braden Shen.
Brett Hall.
4 studs. So I'll let Adam lead on this one. So I figured we'll just cover our teams that we kind of pull for here. So I guess we'll do the Pittsburgh Penguins now, Adam. So why don't you overrate it, underrate it, and all time Penguin. Well, what you think? So I'll let you take the floor on this.
All time Penguins got to be Mario, right?
Yeah, I would.
I mean, the guy saved Pittsburgh. Managed to have Malkin, Crosby, and Fleury. I mean, I still feel we should have had more Stanley Cups, but I'll take 3.
That back-to-back year.
Right. Back-to-back, 15, 16, and the guy.
I've never seen that happen either, man. Detroit plays Pittsburgh, and Pittsburgh plays Detroit again.
Well, remember, they also won in 91, 92. Never after a three-peat till the Islanders beat them in that awkward series in 93. That was pure luck by the Islanders, but they outplayed us. Underrated all time. I I'd really have to think about that one.
Give me your. So you're underrated. Give me your overrated. Most overrated Penguin. I have mine. This is gonna be pretty interesting.
Overrated Penguin.
The talent too. So it's like really, it is tough to think.
He's so great, but he's so bad, and I think Chris Letang is just overplayed, and I really just feel that way. I feel he's a great player.
Plays with good players, though, man. He plays with damn good players, and they're going to make anybody better.
But he does a lot of dumb shit. He causes a lot of 2-on-1s and doesn't always get back because he has that offensive mind state. So as a defenseman, he's probably overrated because he likes offense.
I like it. So can you give us your do you want us to come back to you for your
underrated?
Underrated?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I really
Steve, my man, what are you thinking? Pittsburgh Penguins.
Dude, honestly, I'm not going to be able to answer real deep on this one,
It's
but
okay.
Honestly, like, the person that I'm a fairly newer, hockey fan. So
all good. You're a good hockey fan.
When I think of, Pittsburgh, I think of Sidney Crosby, man.
Hands down. Yeah, how can you not? Yeah, definitely.
Sid the Kid, of course.
Sid the Kid, man.
It's kind of like my Green Bay Packers one I just did the other day when we had to pick an all-time quarterback. It was like Bart Starr,
Favre,
Aaron Rodgers, or Brett Favre.
I go Brett.
So, it's like Crosby, Malkin, Lemieux.
Yeah.
Jaromir Jagr.
Yogs. But he was a winger. Man.
All Yager in there.
Got to throw Yogs in there. He's probably still playing somewhere. Who knows? I'll jump in with mine and we'll let Brandon finish it off. So, my underrated is actually Pascal Dupuis. I think he's an incredibly underrated player. Definitely someone on my team. Excellent penalty killer. 8-game winning goals long ago. Plus 18+ rating at one point too. I really like Pascal.
I love Pascal. I never looked at him as underrated.
That's my underrated. When I think of the Penguins, Mario Lemieux / Sidney Crosby. How can you not? It's just my opinion. And my most overrated Penguin, I'm going to have to say, man, my most overrated Penguin. I'm actually going to go Max Talbot. Max Talbot played there for a little bit and then eventually. Am I screaming?
No, you don't remember that in Philadelphia?
Oh, yeah. So, cool, because Max Talbot was with Pittsburgh and then he came over to Philly. I think he was an overrated player for too much of a role player. Like he didn't, good games, didn't do bad, but I think he was definitely an overrated player. And I think he was more appreciated in Philadelphia than he was in Pittsburgh. So that's mine for the Penguins.
Mine, looking back on it now that I'm like having a fresher mind on things, I would really have to go with Alexei Kovalev.
As you know what?
He played underneath Yager, got very under, he didn't always get the headlines like he did when he went to Montreal and all that. But Alexei Kovalev was one of those underrated players that played hard every game. I don't have all the stats like you had, Frankie, on Pascal Dupuis, but I never looked at Pascal as being underrated or overrated either because I watched him play.
Oh, I think he was totally underrated. I think he was a damn good player. I think that it's one of those guys that I think almost deserved more playing time. So he did everything right and then went the extra mile, kind of like a Zach McEwen in Philly. But Brandon, finish us off with the Flyers, man. I'm sorry, not the Flyers. Huh? What were thinking? With the Penguins. Yeah, with Pittsburgh.
So for underrated, I'm probably gonna go with Kevin Stevens.
Okay.
Because it seems like, from what I've kind of read, it kind of seems like he was always kind of like one of those underappreciated players.
Wait, so Kevin Stevens is a dog, man. That dude was in front of the net. He was back in that clear the zone, get in front of the goalie.
I hate that role. The guy just stands in front of the net and just.
Yeah, but he was so good at it.
How you? Oh God!
He had so many garbage goals.
And then
a lot of trash taken out, Frankie.
Yeah, it's trash night.
Like all in all, Pittsburgh Penguin, I'd probably say Mario as well.
It's a me, Mario.
Mario Lemieux, and then overrated.
Marc-Andre Fleury.
Yeah, I'd probably go with Fleury.
Overrated?
He's my next one. Yeah, I would have said that too. Yep. He was my
Three-time
next
Stanley
one.
Cup champion.
Listen,
All-time wins.
look at the defense he had in front of him. Look at the players he had in front of him. He had Niskanen at that time. Like, he had incredible players. I mean, Marc-Andre Fleury is still playing at a high level, but I would take Matt Murray over him. You want to debate it? Should we ring the bell?
I don't think Marc-Andre Fleury is overrated.
We'll save it for another episode of IceTalk.
Good
Good stuff all the way around. Let's dive into our final team here before we say hello and handshakes and all that good shit. Obviously, the team that I love so much, Philadelphia Flyers. We got a little comment here from a viewer, Cassandra Lillian. He not. Obviously, probably talking about Marc-Andre Fleury. Give us another take there, Cassandra. Jump in and say how you feel. Marc-Andre Fleury, overrated, underrated. It's a nice name too, Cassandra. I like that. Very exotic.
People aren't liking my comment.
Well, what are you gonna do? So it was a good take though. I'm all about it actually. So overrated, underrated, all time. We're gonna start with Brandon on this one. Flyers. What do you think?
Ooh, to be honest with you, I've never really been that.
Think about it. Think about it. You can do a little look ski. Adam, what do you think? When you spend a lot of time,
I am digging deep here, Frankie.
I'm gonna give you mine then. I think
go ahead. You go first because this is your team. You cover them. You write about them.
I do write about them.
You live in Philly. You know.
My most overrated Flyer, overrated Philadelphia Flyer. Oh my god! I don't know why people thought he was going to be good. Is Matt Reed. 100% Matt Reed, overrated player. Just another comment here, Cassandra. Murray took Fleury last Stanley Cup as a Penguin. Oh, we got a Murray fan there. All right, I like it. Good stuff, Cassandra. Thanks for chiming in. Matt Reed. He was a guy that at one point, was playing top line minutes with Claude Giroux. That was the big goal scorer that was going to be playing with Claude. It was absolute fraudulent, wasted money. Matt Reed sucks. He should be bagging groceries somewhere. Overrated. It shouldn't be spent that much time in the NHL. Underrated. Most underrated Flyer, Wayne Simmons. Wayne Simmons is probably my most underrated Flyer. I think that he did a lot more than just what he did. He was a guy in front of the net that would get the goals, like kind of like what Adam was talking about, that that role that I just talked so much shit on. But
Wayne Simmons
in front of the net, he was a flyer.
He was a beast in front of that
net, man. He was incredible, man. He had a couple 30 goal year.
Most of them were garbage, but he was a beast. He cleaned up. He cleaned up well.
He was a Flyer. And dropped the gloves. He's probably one of the toughest dudes around. So he's my most underrated Flyer. Would definitely probably be Wayne Simmons / probably Scott Hartnell. When I think of Philadelphia Flyers, right off the bat, I probably think I think Claude Giroux. I'm going to probably list a couple because it's really difficult. Claude Giroux, Danny Briere, Simone Gagne, and I'll throw it out there. Probably Ron Hextall. I mean, I could go back to the 70s, but if it's just not my era, those are the big names I think about with the Philadelphia Flyers and the coach Roger Nielsen.
I loved watching Ron Hextall on the ice every time there was an open net.
Oh, dude, he would just hop.
he would get that glove down there. He would flip it up like Larry Murphy, everyone wanted to know if that puck was going to make it.
I just watched a video of him literally at the end of the game skating down the ice.
There's a good comment, Frankie.
Yeah, we got Steve Harper once again, FlyersInsider.com, great writer. Eric Lindros. I mean, yeah, honestly, I would probably put Eric Lindros in the overrated category, 100%. I think he was overrated, not as a player, but as a player here in Philadelphia. I don't think he was here long enough. Injuries definitely took a toll on him. Damn good player for what we saw, but I don't think he was here long enough. I would actually take Claude Giroux over Eric Lindros any day. That's my take. moving on to the next person. We got some people that are studying down there, so I guess we'll do a little plug ski. Five Hole
I am
Podcast.
definitely studying
No, it's all
flyers.
good.
This
It's
is
all good. Do your
horrible.
thing. Do your thing. It's not that
God.
difficult. Five Hole Podcast. Make sure you check them out. We're going to be on their show. It's the Battle of the Pods. They're on here with Adam and I, Ice Talk debut episode. We're going to be on with them tomorrow, talking about totally different topics. Make sure you check them out. Five Hole Podcast. You got Brandon. You got Steve. Their handles are right in their names. Check them out. Give them a like. Give them a follow. Maybe even give them a little upsy downsy. You never know. But check them out for sure, and you'll see us on there tomorrow. Now, who has something for me? Damn it,
I got
Brandon.
So all-time flyer. I don't know if you would agree with me on this on that, but Bobby Clark.
100%. Yeah.
And then what did I say? Underrated Roenick.
Jeremy Roenick. Okay, as you're underrated. I love that. Yeah, I'm with that 100%. Well
and
said.
Then overrated, I was gonna go with Bill Barber.
Okay, I could see that. For that team, it definitely would make sense. I mean, he's a damn good player, Hall of Famer. Kicking it back to the old school days, there was a tons of Hall of Famer, but that Roenick one, yeah, dude, I love that. I wouldn't have minded if he actually became captain at one point with the Flyers. Him and Mark Recchi were two players that I think were really overrated. Mark Recchi definitely. I hope I didn't take no one's answer because he was a Penguin actually at one point. He won. I think Recchi and Claire won the cup, the first cup with them after he left here.
5, I think. I think he has 5 with 5 different teams.
Yeah, man, that's pretty remarkable. Recchi was definitely an overrated player.
Yeah, he's an awesome person too. Mark Recchi is one of the nicest people I've ever met.
Oh, nice. You got a little Mark Recchi story?
I don't. We were doing stuff at his house, and we ended up.
What kind of stuff were you doing at Mark Recchi's house?
Outdoor lighting.
Well, I'll have to talk about that all fair. I mean, I think
outdoor lighting, and he had our company do outdoor lighting with him. He just happened to be home that day, and we got the bullshit with him for a minute or two.
Interesting. Outdoor lighting. Well, we'll look more into that for the audience.
He has a little half rink in his backyard too.
I believe that. How can you not be? Steve.
And,
all right, man. So
sorry, get Adam. Real quick, Adam. What were you gonna say, bud?
I'm gonna go with either Eric Desjardins
for overrated,
underrated.
I'm with that. One of the best,
or David, or the most quietest one that no one talks about, David Pullen, as an underrated player.
I can see that too,
because he played on the Bobby Clark era, and he was one of those silent guys,
Well said. I'm not mad about it at all.
All right, man. So I'm not gonna disrespect you guys with coming up with some underrated and overrated players because I'm just uneducated on the Flyers. But I will tell you, I know 3 guys from Philly. One doesn't even exist. But
Rocky Balboa.
I know Frankie, I know Rocky, and I know Craig Berube, man. So that's the guy I think of.
Too, man. Braden Shen. Don't forget about Braden Shen.
Oh, Braden Shen, yeah.
What other Flyers did you have on that Stanley Cup team? You had Shen, you had Berube. I feel like you guys had like another one too.
If we did, I don't know who it was off the top of my head.
I'm gonna have to look into it. I'm really curious. I'll reach out to you. I'm gonna look into it and see what's up. Yeah, I think there was more because I remember that Kings team had like what? Carter Richards, Gagne, I think was on there. God, there was a shit ton of players on there from that team. Justin Williams, as we mentioned earlier. Oh God, another player, man. I can't even talk about that. But yeah. The good stuff all the way around. Good answers. I love it. I mean, a little 35-minute episode. Once again, 5 Hole Podcast. When do you guys usually do your shows? What time is tomorrow's show? Is it going to be live audio? Where can we find you guys on Spotify?
It'll be live tomorrow about 9 Eastern, 8 Central.
Yeah, that's what he said.
Something about that time.
I love it. It's good stuff all the way around. Good topics. Little discussion just to talk a little hockey. Crease the sheets more or less. Get ready for tomorrow. Adam, anything on your end, my friend? Any final thoughts?
I'm ready. We're getting this thing rolling. We are gonna do also like a little weekly thing We might do a nightly thing, huh, Frank? Is that what you're talking
Yeah,
about?
we're talking about when season starts. We'll do like a recap of the games. We'll get some good guests on here, get some, do some interviewing and stuff like that. Reach out to a couple people. But this was definitely a fun episode. Flies by. Good hockey talk all the way around.
Oh yeah.
Brandon, Steve, 5-Hole Podcast tomorrow. Make sure you give them a follow. We expect tons of follows with them because we're going to be doing it up big tomorrow. Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us, man, on short notice. Brandon went off to save the world, comes back, and he's in the middle of a podcast all of a sudden.
Yeah, I left with the fire alarm, came back, while I was outside, Steve was going, "Hey, you need to hurry up and get back up here. These guys are wanting to do a show real quick."
Yeah. Brandon actually doesn't have any pants on, tonight? Actually, guys. Breaking news. Brandon actually doesn't have any pants on. That's how quick we just jumped right into it. Steve was like,
I have pants on.
Oh, well, and apparently he's hard, too, so the fans will love that. Great. Love that. Fantastic. Top gun it is.
Oh,
Jesus
man.
Christ almighty. Oh, you got weights in that thing? Jesus Lord.
Man.
And moving on, Steve. Thanks again for joining us, man. We can't wait for
Thanks,
tomorrow.
guys. Yes, we'll definitely hook up tomorrow.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
Absolutely. Can't wait. And once again, IceTalk, give us a follow. Give Adam, want to plug your network, my friend.
Sports, talking sports with. We cover fans, driving to the top productions. Got repping the Bay Gina. We got Boston Tom and Quincy, the corner booth 617. You can find him on Twitter, corner booth 617. Gina's channel, I don't have that one memorized.
Gina the rep in the SoCal, something like that. She got a
new one. We got a new channel for Gina.
I can't. The comfy couch or the cozy couch or some shit like that. I can't remember what it's called. But
yeah, we're working. We're getting there.
Sure we get it out there. There's no better than her. But good show. Can't wait all the way around. Get at them.
Just glad to be hanging out with you boys today. I've been working with you guys for your whole network for the last couple of weeks. It feels like growing with you guys and having fun.
Yeah. I know the first show that I actually did with you, Adam, on the home run derby, that was like right around whenever I first kind of came into the variety.
Damn good show too, by the way. Damn good show.
So that was, I thought it was a really good, those 2 days of running the home run derby and the All-Star game. I thought those were pretty fun shows.
Yeah, it was different. You get a different feel for it because the topic's supposed to be the All-Star game, but it's just gonna be a bunch of people BSing and having a good time.
The old BS in sports, I love it. Oh man, I'm definitely pumped up for tomorrow. Can't wait. Check us out. We'll be going live with the boys at 5-Hole Podcast. Pick up your sticks, pick up your gloves. It's IceTalk time. Good night, everybody.
Good night, guys.